men in the box. They got us boxed in. Alice in Chains, perfect pick for the dictatorship in which we're living. The fraudulent government, the Democrat government, Republican government, I've told you about since 1994. So for me to get up here and start screaming about Obama did this, Obama said that, Obama went back to his socialist principle, what's the point? We know that there's a one government. We know that it's the Democrats or Republicans. We know Boehner is a fraud, a front, a shill. A shill, that's all. The thing is we need the shill. Because the shill will, now that they're in power, won't raise taxes. That's about the only thing they won't do that the commie will do. But this guy, Obama, is a man in a box. He lives in an alternate universe. So Obama invents an America where people are prospering, everyone's working, peace is reigning all over the world, and everyone's going to have free college. But people in America are not prospering. Some are. 92 million people are not in the workforce. And those that are making less money or having to work 2 or more part-time jobs to make up for it. But this president in a box, while touting the supposed great diplomacy that his administration has conducted, cannot verbally identify the threat to our security here at home and around the world. This so-called State of the Union is the first one since 2002 that did not mention the words Al-Qaeda, despite the fact that Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula claimed responsibility for the terror attack in France just last week. And instead of sending a world leader to France to march in solidarity against radical Islamic murder, this extremely incompetent man in a box has a Secretary of State who belongs as Secretary of State. He brings the singer James Taylor to France to sing them an off-key version of You Got a Friend. No wonder the French don't eat American fries. Radical Islamic extremists are at war with the rest of the world, whether this president in a box wants to recognize it or not. People are being beheaded. 2 Japanese hostages right now are being threatened with having their heads cut off unless the Japanese government pays a ransom of $200 million. And the pacifist president of Japan said, go to hell to the terrorists. But our president and Nancy Pelosi and the other frauds put their heads in the sand. Many people have given up hope on finding work over here that pays a decent wage. They look for government benefits or they're doubling up on living with family. But the president lives his life in an alternate universe. While most people have to claw their way through the reality he has created with his demented vision of the way the country should work. But in my alternate reality, we have a president who really is a man in a box. So I didn't watch it until once I saw Boehner was on a Mantan jag, high on Mantan. Maybe there's a certain high he gets off it. Maybe the pharmaceutical companies developed a skin lotion for Boehner that gives him a certain rush. I don't know why he's doing it to himself, but it's not laughable. It's almost like demented. I turned the thing on after I cleaned the windows of my car. I came in and I said, let me see what he's doing now. I turned it on. Here's exactly what I heard in clips 3 and 4. Listen to this.
We're demonstrating the power of American strength and diplomacy. We're upholding the principle that bigger nations can't bully the small by opposing Russian aggression and supporting Ukraine's democracy and reassuring our NATO allies. Last year, as we were doing the hard work of imposing sanctions along with our allies, as we were reinforcing our presence with the frontline states, Mr. Putin's aggression, it was suggested, was a masterful display of strategy.
Liar, pants on fire.
Well, today, it is America that stands strong and united with our allies, while Russia is isolated with its economy in tatters. That's how America leads. Not with bluster, but with persistent, steady resolve.
And at that point, McCain, the warmonger, stood up and clapped because they're getting to go to war. They're ginning up a war with Russia right now. This is the most psychotic thing I've ever seen, actually, in my entire political life. We had stable, good relations with Russia, the other major nuclear power on the planet. And this shill of a man, this community organizer with a booming voice, has now reignited the Cold War, and according to Mikhail Gorbachev, a darling of the left, not 15 years ago, Gorbachev warned that we're close to a nuclear showdown with Russia. Do you hear what I just said to you, you fools? Are all of you as idiotic as Michael Moore and Harvey Weinstein to think we don't really know what's going on? Do you think we live in the fantasy world of Hollywood? We don't. I will tell you again what has gone on. The United States, in cahoots with the European Union, which is the new Soviet Union in a milder form, the new Soviet European Union and the United States moved NATO troops into Ukraine in order to back Russia into a corner, moron. What do you expect Putin to do? What do you think he's going to do? As I said to you, you have no idea what Russian resolve is. You have no idea what Russian pride is. You have no idea that the Russians, if they have to, will eat wood rather than give in to the sorority running America. I can guarantee you this is a disaster for the world. And this community organizer sits up there, and instead of saying Al-Qaeda is our enemy, instead of mentioning that the churches are being burned, Christians are being killed, instead of talking about 15 Iraqi schoolboys who were just killed the other day for the crime of watching a soccer match by ISIS, he talks about Russia as if that's the gravest threat to the planet next to global warming, the myth of the con men in the warmest industry. And so is it any wonder that people with an IQ above 90 have tuned out of the political world? They have. They've tuned out. They're not going to watch it anymore. They can't take it anymore because they know that they don't have a Richard the Lionheart in the White House. We're all waiting for the day that Richard the Lionheart appears